China. The toilet is on that side. You see a door in the corner. That is the toilet. There's also washrooms outside. If you see the registration table, it was on your right, outside the main door. And also, finally, we'll have a little bit of snacks later on. Please try not to spill anything on the dude bags. Yeah, you can help yourself. So, what's going to happen tonight is we're going to have a short introduction to Make Sense. We'll then have an open mic session, so anyone can share their social projects and social enterprises. Although we already have a couple of people in the crowd who say that they want to share their projects, so that's awesome. So tonight is a very special night for us at Make Sense. I met this guy, the founder of Make Sense, last year at the Global Social Business Summit in Vienna. And he was telling me his story about how he backpacks all over the world to talk about social business. So social business to me is an organization that puts purpose before profits. So, but without further ado, I would like to invite Christian Benizet.
I use the microphone. Yeah. So hello everyone. Is it okay my English? Yes. You tell me if it's too French. You tell me like. Cool. As you may have noticed, there is 2 days for the sensecamp. First day is a short introduction and for us to get to know each other on the projects of everyone in the room. And the second day, we have 3 amazing social entrepreneurs that came from Indonesia, not the Philippines, Indonesia, from Bangladesh and from Malaysia. And we're going to work tomorrow on their challenges. But they will introduce themselves during the open mic. So just before starting, I will just explain you a little bit what this makes sense and some example of social entrepreneurs we've met around the world and like what we learn out of it, so that those of you interested by the topic can start to get into this. And then there will be an open mic session. Everyone will be able to share his project. And if you want after, there is some trainings on how to organize the workshop we are going to do tomorrow to work on the challenges of the 3 social entrepreneurs. Is it okay? Okay. So, oh, now it doesn't work. It was, yes, now it works here. So, first of all, thank you to Lauren and Nadia who organized everything. So we met with Lauren like a year ago now in Vienna at the Global Social Business Summit organized by Professor Yunus. Maybe some of you are coming on the 8th and the 9th at the Youth Social Business Summit that will happen, where there will be Professor Yunus and you will be able to meet him. And so thank you, Lauren. So my name is Christian. I'm coconut surfing on Twitter. And I come from this place in the world. It's called Tahiti. It's not as beautiful as Malaysia or the island in Southeast Asia, but that's okay. And so that's where I grew up. And after graduating from my school there, I've been to a business school in France, and I worked 2 years in Zomalto. They do all the little SIM cards and smart cards you have in your mobile phone. And I was working during 2 years in the innovation department of that company. So how do we invent new services and products? And so a lot of the things we use in Make Sense come out of the innovation techniques that people use in big companies, the creativity workshops and the innovation part. But then I was tired of working on the web of things, and when you clap your hands and it turns on the light, it's funny, but it's not like meaningful. So that's why I quit. And with that guy, Romain, that you can see on the Facebook picture, we went on a tour all around Asia first, and then Europe and Africa, to meet, like this was the first part of the tour. So we've been all over Asia, but we didn't came to Philippines, Malaysia, at first. To meet social entrepreneurs in all those places, and then around the world with my friend. And we first arrived in MindValley, so we didn't know anyone there, any social entrepreneur. So we sent a tweet to this guy, Valab, Rao, and then he published a blog post about what we were looking for social entrepreneurs all around Asia that were solving like meaningful issues for society in healthcare, in education. And so he wrote a blog post, and then we got contacted by lots of social entrepreneurs, and we decided with our iPhone to go all over the places and film them. So if you go on the website, makesense.org, you have 200 profiles of social entrepreneurs and videos about the innovations they are doing. When we started this adventure, we published the videos on Facebook and Twitter, and then people around the world started to tell us we would like to do the same. So we said, okay, we can join our gang, the Make Sense gang, and we will give you a little blue head avatar that you will be able to put on your Facebook. And so then people started to put their blue head avatar, and people like started to discover Make Sense. Why did you put that blue head? Because I'm meeting social entrepreneurs and interviewing them. How can I do the same? Yes, you can do the same, etc. And it went like viral. Some people imitate what we did, but in other places in the world. So for example, you have here Sonja and Arthur, but Arthur is taking the picture. They did the same thing, a tour all around South America to meet social entrepreneurs, but they did it with bikes. So we took the train and stuff, and they take the bikes to meet like the social entrepreneurs and the video they are doing. And then some people contacted us in China also. They completely hacked our logo. they did their own posters and stuff. And they say, okay, we are going to meet also social entrepreneur in China. And so that's how it started. And then people all over the world say, okay, we want to do the same. Either they organize travels or they organize events with those social entrepreneurs, like the sensecamp we are doing tonight. So on the upper right, you see like it's happened in Paris, and on the left, it happened in London. And since then, you can see on the big whale after, the whale that is just here, there have been 450 events around the world where people gather to work on the challenges of social entrepreneurs they met. And all of this with €0. And so you can see this is the map of some of the gangsters and the place, some of the members of Make Sense and the place they are in the world. So this is the tour we done in Asia. This is the tour they did in South America with the bikes. And the blue points is where there is member of the community meeting social entrepreneur. So what is really cool, like what we're doing is that we can see all their innovations they are doing around the world, and we can see all those entrepreneurs. So this is all the statistics. The new ones are on the way. We've met 200 social entrepreneurs. We did like 450 events. We call it the Hold Ups in 30 countries, 1 year, and with zero funding. We just explain everyone how to do those events, and we just publish on Facebook the travel we did, and people imitate it. That's what is like. I think we have a huge power that people 5 years ago or 10 years ago didn't have because of the internet and Facebook and this kind of stuff. 70% of the social entrepreneurs were happy about the events organized, and 90% of the people that came to those events, like the workshops we are going to do tomorrow, said that they will come back. So for us it was like quite interesting. And what's next is that we want to reach in 2 years 300,000 people mobilized around the world. For the moment we reached only 8,000. And for this we just launched a website that you can go, makesense.org, where you see like the social entrepreneurs, for example, Professor Yunus, the challenges they are facing, and you can directly get in touch with them, see their innovation all around. When you work with the social entrepreneur and you help them, you earn badges. So if you want to earn some badges, there is like if you solve like a technology challenge, you become like the tech guy, and you have different levels. And then we are working on some mobile application to help like people to animate workshops to solve the challenge. So now I'm telling about Make Sense just to show you that we've met social entrepreneurs around the world with really interesting innovations. And some of the social entrepreneurs we've met, just to give you an example, each time they spot a problem in society and they create a solution to solve it. Okay? So the first one on the left is a guy called Fionn Dobin. He's in Latvia, so a little country in Europe, and he saw a problem is that the mothers, when they have a children, they have to quit their job and they are not paid anymore. So what he did, he said, okay, I need to find a way so that the mother, when they are taking care of their child at home, they earn money. So he created a company where the mothers do some scarves at home, like the scarves or the clothes you can see on the picture. They do it at home, and then Mamou sells it. So that while staying at home, they can take care of their children and they create products. So it's a fashion company, but it's not a normal fashion company. It's a fashion company to solve a problem. Another one that is in France is François-TEN. He created a school where people that didn't succeed in high school can still come to learn at the university. And it's really now famous in France, and it's something to solve the education problem. And the most amazing one we've met, maybe some of you have heard of it. Who knew about Barefoot College? Maybe you can explain what it is.
Started by Bunker Roy. Yeah, okay, so basically Bunker Roy knows that there's a lot of need in the villages, and we've got basically his biggest story was that he had a grandmother able to design solar from a grandmother that doesn't know any reading or writing. Right, so maybe he can tell the story a bit better, but basically he's able to give education to people who don't know how to read or write. And they can be solar engineers, build their own sustainable energy village and so forth.
Yes, that's what he resumed. Like, he saw a problem is that in villages, lots of villages in India or Africa, they don't have energy. There's a solution to that problem, is to install solar panel. But the problem is not the installation of the solar panel, it's the maintenance. Like, how do you maintain your solar panel? And the fact is that, so Bunker Roy had the idea of taking, as he said, like grandmothers that don't know how to read, like they're illiterate. They come to his college, the Barefoot College, and they learn how to install and maintain the solar panel. So from illiterate grandmothers, they become like the solar engineers of their village. And what's really cool in his concept is that the grandmothers then become the heroes in their village, and they teach their daughter how to install and maintain the solar panel. And the girls are the ones that are not leaving the village, because the boys leave the village and work in the city, so it really stays in the village. And when you hear about Bunker Roy's story, you can see on TED, it's one of the most viewed TED Talks, he explained like, he really explained that he takes villages that are 1 kilometer away from villages where the UN, the United Nations, send an expert to install the solar panel. So that 1 year after, you can compare which solar panels are still there. The one installed by the UN or the one installed by the illiterate grandmothers. And what you see is that the one installed by the UN, the expert comes, install and he goes, like it's not there anymore. Everyone stole it, or either like it's not working anymore. Whereas the one with the grandmothers, they're still there because there are people to take care of it in the village. And so that's really an interesting example, because what's the question that we were thinking the more we traveled was what differentiates the social entrepreneur from the entrepreneur. And the example of Bunker Roy or Sean Dobin from Mamou or François-TEN is really striking, because what you see is that most, not all, but most of the entrepreneurs, they start their company for self-interest. And the incentive is the exit, like the money they will earn by doing their company. They can earn a lot of money quickly. Whereas when you see a lot of social entrepreneurs, they start for other interests than their interest. They start for intrinsic motivation, like the values they have. And when you create a company, your goal, your normal company, your goal is to capture the value. You know, it's to say like, oh, everything that's happening thanks to me, I own part of it, I capture the value. When you look at the social entrepreneur, they don't care about capturing the value, they just care about creating the value. So they teach the grandmother is gone, they use their solar panel, Bunker Roy doesn't own anything, it's the grandmother who owns it. So he don't capture the value, but he created it with his concept. Most of the entrepreneurs, they organize themselves in companies, in firms, whereas most of the social entrepreneurs, they organize themselves in community, and they really focus on explaining the solution. So there are two different propositions then, is that once you organize in firms, your goal is to maximize the profit. Once you want to maximize the profit, how you do? You protect all your intellectual property, and you don't give the secrets. of what you're doing. What you want is to control everything that happens and to control the market where you're in. You know Porter and the 5 forces of Porter, so you try to do it. And your end goal is to build a sustainable competitive advantage, is to become kind of a monopoly, you know, because when you're a monopoly, it's sustainable in the long run and you earn a lot of money. So this is what most of the entrepreneurs do, not all of them. But the one that start for other interests, their goal is to create value. They organize a lot of time in community or solutions. You see Bunker Roy, what his company is basically a school. It's a college, the Barefoot College. People come, they learn, and they go. He don't capture the value, but his goal is to maximize the societal impact. And he don't keep the secrets and the IP protection of how he do it. How do you teach the grandmother that already tried to install solar panel? He shares the knowledge to everyone. So it's on the internet how he does it. It's really simple. Like they learn by colors. You know, like this button, this blue button should be put in this blue hole, and that's how like they learn. And the goal is the logic of empowerment. They don't want to control everything they do, everything what happens thanks to them. They want to empower people. So you know, Fion Dobin, he empowered the mothers to create their own products. He just trained them, but then it's their own little micro enterprise. And what they are looking for is not to have a sustainable competitive advantage and a lot of money, it's to create sustainable solutions that will last. So that's why it's important for Bunker to use the grandmothers, because they stay in the village, they teach their daughter, and the solution is sustainable. You know? So these are the things that we really learn the more we were meeting social entrepreneurs, because there's no clear definition of what is social entrepreneurship. But every time it's a common thing. Like, try to do the exercise when Nadia will explain you what is her project all about. You will see that it's completely on the other interest edifice. Like, all happening in her business, she's empowering the farmers and stuff. She's not controlling them to get, she will explain you, but you will see. So what is the role of social entrepreneurship for me in society? It's basically like, first they disrupt the mindset, they show you how to think differently, much more than Steve Jobs or Apple and stuff like that. Because like, who would have imagined that grandmothers could install and maintain solar panels? The grandmothers that are illiterate. So it completely changed your perspective. The second thing is that it extends the frontiers of innovation. It shows to society that how we can go further. The social entrepreneur, like the pioneer, they test innovative solutions that no one knows. And then they open up the learnings for everyone to learn. So we saw thousands of social entrepreneurs around the world, but what will change the world is really not all their projects they are doing, because it's still at a small scale, you know, except the big ones like the Grameen Bank that touch millions of people. Most of the social entrepreneurs projects are quite at a low scale, but what's happening is that they learn so much and they share so much to society that then it's easy for governments and institutions to take back the ideas and try to scale it. So it was really to share with you like a little bit of the example we've seen and the thing we thought about social entrepreneurship by seeing so much example around the world thanks to the medicine community. So do you have any questions before we get to the open mic session?
Okay, hi. I'm Taufik. I think some of you guys know me already. Okay. Anyway, my question is, who actually funds your trips? Because you see, being a social entrepreneur, you know, most of us have financial problems, especially getting reach or getting people to want to support the idea. So, who is it that actually assists you guys? Are you guys self-funded or what is it? All right, thank you.
So basically, like, I'm not a social entrepreneur. What I do is just a platform where they post their challenge and everyone connects with them and help. But the method and the tools we use, like the creativity workshops we're going to do tomorrow, of how do you create a community around the world with €0, a lot of people want to know how to do that. And some big companies in France, they saw articles about Make Sense in the newspaper and what we did. And they approach us, they say, okay, I have 200,000 employees in my company, but the problem is that they don't talk to each other, so I need to create communities inside my company. And so they say, can you help us do that? And so we make them pay. We use the same methods and tools that we use in Make Sense, but it has nothing to do with social entrepreneurship, just the tools and methods. and they pay us, and that's how we self-fund Make Sense. But in Make Sense itself, there's no money, because and we really want to have no money involved in Make Sense because it works like an open source project, like Linux. Linux works because people participate because they learn a lot and because they can connect with people with the same passion. And if you put money into that, it changes the way people interact. And so for Make Sense, it's really like a foundation. We don't want any money, so that the people that come and participate for the good reasons. But all the things we learn can be monetized elsewhere. Other questions?